Welcome to Dippy Does It All, the podcast where curiosity meets chaos and nothing's off the table. From deep dives to dumb questions, side hustles to soul searching, Dippy's got a little something for everyone. And probably way too much for some. So buckle up, tune in, and let's see what Dippy's getting into this time. Today's episode isn't just special, it's mythic. Because I'm joined by a guest host who isn't just a man, he's a legend. Dire wolf whisperer, amateur cryptozoologist, and proud owner of more than 3 opinions nobody asked for. It's Stuart. Welcome, Stuart.
Thank you.
They say he once debated a philosopher into silence, parallel parked a dragon, and still had time to make his famous chili. He's got the wisdom of a wizard, the charm of a rogue, and the attention span of a caffeinated squirrel, which means this episode is gonna be unforgettable. Welcome to the first wildly unnecessary, scientifically questionable, and highly entertaining episode of Dippy Does It All, the podcast where curiosity meets chaos and takes it out for tacos. So today we're going to tackle the big questions. Dire wolves, majestic beasts, or oversized, emotionally unstable murder puppies? And dinosaurs. Should we bring them back, or did Jurassic Park literally teach us nothing? Spoiler, we think it's a terrible idea. But that won't stop us from imagining what life would be like with a T-Rex as a neighbor and a dire wolf as emotional support animal. So grab your fossil snacks and hold on to your sanity. This is going to be one prehistoric ride.
Well, boy.
That was good reading.
That was very good. Dire wolves. It's out of control.
It is out of control. Why did we do this episode? Well, one, it's in pop culture right now. Everyone's talking about it. Yep. And if you haven't heard about it, you're hearing about it now. And we have some coworkers that have some opinions.
I'm not excited about dire wolves at all, first of all. I'm excited about the podcast, but the fact that they're bringing back dire wolves who are literally bigger than every man on earth and are literally set out to kill. They died for a reason. Leave them to die, okay? I don't understand the point of them. They're stupid. They're dead. Leave them dead. Move on. Create something bionic for all I care. Just leave them dead.
Gosh, I just can't. The wolves are going to be cool. I don't know what this girl's saying. Like, bring them back. Let them.
What do you mean?
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, they died. They didn't survive or fit. They died.
Baby, they're coming for you.
Woolly mammoths,
they're coming for you.
Dude, give me an Ice Age Ice Age 2.
Haley really was going after it. I don't think I've seen her that fired up in a while.
Not since softball season, anyway.
Yeah, definitely not since softball. Sorry, Haley, we love you. Right. What is a dire wolf, Stuart?
It is a wolf that is bigger than a gray wolf that was previously extinct. I think it's got things like a broader, flatter head, broader shoulders. I've heard heavier, but I've also heard the same weight as like a gray wolf or like marginally lighter. I did read something about how its jaws are meant, the way its jaws are designed, make it a, and I quote, brutal killer.
Oh my.
Yeah, pretty scary stuff.
That is scary. Mm-hmm. Why the heck would they want to bring these back?
So they can move on to dinosaurs.
Oh, Lord. This is going to be stupid. I did get some facts from the internet, Stu.
Let's hear it.
Dire wolves are the largest ancestral canine that ever lived. They terrorized the plains of North America until the end of the last ice age, more than 10,000 years ago. They have thick white coats, are 25% larger than gray wolves, with wider heads and stronger jaws. They have an estimated weight of 150 pounds and are approximately 8 feet long. They live on in pop culture, featured in the show Game of Thrones as a symbol of House Stark. Don't blame my ancestors. And they were subject in a Grateful Dead song and used in the game Dungeons & Dragons.
I don't know the Grateful Dead song.
I don't either. I'm trying to think of what it was even called. That's really helpful.
Yep. We're good at pop culture here.
Maybe we could put a clip in.
Yeah. It's probably. I'm gonna.
Hey Dippy, if you can find a clip, find a clip. Yeah. So the song is literally called Dire Wolf. The wolves are running round, don't murder me. I beg you, please don't murder me. Please don't murder me. Dire wolves often represent loyalty, survival, and a connection to the ancient world. They're hyper carnivores that hunted large animals like horses and bison. While they specialized in large prey, they weren't strictly specialists. Their diet varied based on what was available, including smaller animals like ground sloths and even scavenging. So here's my thing. If they bring these dire wolves back, are we going to then lose the horses? Because we don't have a whole bunch of wild horses everywhere.
I thought we did.
Oh, do we?
I think it depends on the country and the region and whatnot. Because I'm no horseologist, but I did one time watch a mountain biking video, and they were riding down a hill.
And there was a lot of horses.
There was wild horses.
Okay.
They might have not been wild horses, but they were riding their bikes beside horses. So there's at least some wild horses somewhere in a video.
Okay. So that makes it scientific.
We might lose them to dire wolves.
So then here's my question. If the mountain bikers are biking and we've lost the horses, are they going to just be biking by the dire wolves?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yes. Jokes aside, grizzly bears do kill mountain bikers sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. Come around the corner of a trail and there's a grizzly bear there with his cubs and it eats your face.
Oh my gosh. Does it eat the bike too?
Well, I heard on Joe Rogan, when you get attacked by a grizzly or eaten by a grizzly bear, it starts in your nether regions and eats you from there first. So I don't know if it starts with the bike then and moves on to you because as you're sitting on the bike. So I don't know.
Does it start with the nether regions to take your power away? Because once you take that, no one's going to want to live.
As a man, that's where most of the man's power lies.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a dominance thing.
I think for sure.
Yeah.
That has to be.
How could it be wrong?
How could it be wrong? Everything you say is truth.
Yeah.
So everything we say on this podcast, you can take as 100% factual.
Correct.
Nothing is ever made up here.
No.
We know everything.
We'd never lie.
No, we never would. No. You can take this and present this at national conferences, and you can be a content expert.
Nobel Peace Prize winners right here.
Exactly. I love that. Ground sloths.
Weren't they really big?
I thought. But this is saying small. I also thought they worked at the DMV. So how do they get into the DMV?
Very slowly.
Isn't that where the sloths are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, everything on here is truthful.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, we know everything about it. So this direwolf project was put together by this company called Colossal Biosciences, and they're trying to de-extinct the direwolves through the genetic engineering. They took DNA from 13,000-year-old tooth that they found in Ohio, which I would think you'd be more likely to find teeth laying around in Missouri or something like that than Ohio.
Yeah, because there's not really anything in Ohio.
Yeah, what? And I've
Nothing
seen a lot of
worthwhile.
people from Missouri, and they don't seem to have a lot of teeth.
Yeah.
So they got to have teeth lying around.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's not. No, that's Missouri.
I think it's just the
That
South
belt.
and then the Appalachia area.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a lot of family in Tennessee. They're probably going to be like, what the heck? All of my Tennessee family, they have teeth. I'll just put that out
Are
there.
they real teeth or fake teeth?
I believe they're all real. Every one of them.
Oh, wow.
They're also smarter than me, so I should probably be quiet.
They were like transplants, not born in Tennessee.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they
that
moved there.
explains it.
They also used an ear bone from 72,000 years ago that they found in Ohio or Idaho.
Idaho makes sense. I feel like there's a lot of dinosaurs there.
Yeah.
Dinosaur bones.
Yeah. Wasn't there they found some direwolf skulls in a volcano pit somewhere or like a tar pit in California or something?
Oh, weird.
Did you read about that?
No.
Oh, I thought I did. Maybe not. They edited the genome of the gray wolves, and they called their method the CRISPR. They made 20 edits to 14 different genes. Their process involves taking the endothelial progenitor cells from blood instead of skin biopsies. So they say it's better because you just need to take the blood. You don't have to do much of an invasive process.
Yeah.
Which also scares me a little bit because I feel like if we make it too easy to recreate
That's
and
what I was
clone
thinking.
things.
not for even for cloning, but for like a eugenics thing or something like that, where you, I don't know, manipulate genes to make the people you find that are more desirable to have in life,
Yeah.
or something like that.
For sure. And they, if
So
this,
I mean, I'd be long gone, but
well, my whole thing is 23andMe just went out of business. They filed bankruptcy. I did that recently. And think about this. If they've got all of our DNA and they have ways to manipulate it, what if they were like, okay, this Dippy character, let's just make a couple of her.
so one day I'm going to come into work and there's going to be 3 of you in the locker room.
yeah, I'm going to be charge, triage, and float. Good luck to
Yep.
everybody.
Yep.
Anyway, I just think, I don't know, making it easy to clone things seems weird to me.
Yeah. So I read something, let me pull it up here. So they used surrogate domestic dogs after scientists added 14 genes, which I think is what you just said, in the gray wolf DNA to express 20 traits associated with dire wolves, such as a larger size, broader skull, and a pale fur coloration. So to me, does that sound like it's actually a dire wolf, or it's just a slightly different gray wolf?
Well, I think
Because
that's
when
what's
you
happening.
put it like that, it's like
Yeah.
it's far from a dire wolf. You just made a bigger gray wolf.
This colossal biosciences, I think that's what they're struggling against, is they presented this to the world that, hey, look at, we made these dire wolves. It's the de-extinction project. They're working on trying to bring back woolly mammoths and
For
dodo
woolly
birds.
mammoth
And
steaks.
yeah, heck yeah. But I believe a lot of the scientists are pushing back because they basically made a gray wolf look like a dire wolf.
Yeah.
You know,
So, is it really a dire wolf?
I don't know. Their argument is that it is because it has the traits, and species are designated based on their traits.
Okay, so then the real question is, if they do this and make a dire wolf, and they do bring back a woolly mammoth, what would you call a woolly mammoth that's crossbred with a salmon?
A salmon?
Yeah, a woolly salmon.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
It's like a hairy salmon with tusks.
Wow, that would be something.
Leaping out of the river, hitting grizzlies in the face.
Grizzly would be like, what the shit is
Yeah.
this?
Oh, tusk in my eye.
Well, they made those woolly mice because they wanted to prove they could make mice with the same fur as the
Yeah.
woolly mammoth, and it was successful. And they have these pictures everywhere, and they're super cute. And of course, what do humans do? They want to buy them.
Go figure.
You know?
Turn them into a pair of gloves.
Yeah, they're like, just make all these woolly mice. Let's have them everywhere. Pet Expo, you know, everywhere. Like, what are we doing? You know?
Release them into the wild and they'll flourish and it'll be a problem.
Yeah. I don't even know what that would do.
There's
They'd probably be really hot if they're not in the right climate.
True. There's a town in Canada, Canmore. Someone had like house rabbits, like the bunnies, not like the wild rabbit, just like, you know, colorful bunnies or whatever. And they released them in the town because they didn't want them anymore, thinking they'd be eaten by coyotes or wolves or whatever. No, now the town's filled with rabbits.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's a lot of rabbits that just hop around, and they're not like the gray like rabbits you normally see in the wild. They look like ones you get at the pet store. Just all over the place.
That's horrible.
Yep.
I wonder if they're as hard on the plants as the wild rabbits are around here.
That's a good question.
Jackie can't keep anything. She puts out these beautiful flowers, eaten.
Gotta-
There's bunnies everywhere in our neighborhood. It's crazy.
No, you can't really probably shoot the bunnies.
No, we have to live trap them and then drive them 5 miles away. I read something on Google that said,
You got that vicious dog that's your neighbor.
oh yes,
Like, it goes
Odie.
after them. Odie,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
He did kill a couple bunnies just not long ago. That was pretty traumatic to all the ladies. We were all a little bit
Distraught.
traumatized. Yeah, they're just so cute. You feel bad, you know. But I read on Google that if you trap a bunny, you have to drop it off at least 5 miles away. Otherwise, they'll just get back. So
Weird.
I take them 5 miles across the river because then not only do they have to go 5 miles, they have to swim. And I don't think they're very good at that.
No, I don't think so.
Well, we digress.
Yeah,
But it's
but,
okay.
yeah.
That's the point of a podcast, right? Anyway, they had 3 puppies. 3 puppies. They had 2 males. They're about 6 months old now. They're named Romulus and Remus after the legendary founders of Rome in Roman mythology. They were
Were
twin
they
brothers.
actually dire wolves in Roman mythology too, or just wolves?
I think they were people.
But I thought there was like a wolf connection.
The
to
wolf
it.
was the mom. The
Yep,
boys were
yep,
raised
that's right,
by the
okay.
wolf. Yep. A she-wolf.
So that's like, if it's like the scene in Jurassic Park where Ian Malcolm, see the guy?
Yeah.
Talking about, was it God creates dinosaurs, God destroys dinosaurs, God creates man, man destroys God, man creates dinosaurs, women inherit the earth or something.
Yeah.
So it's like that's how Rome was made. Wolf creates human, human creates a big city, a big empire.
I think somehow, and I'm not good with Roman mythology, but I think somehow these twin boys were abandoned and the she-wolf took them on and raised
that
them.
sounds about right.
Because they have, and then they went on to make the city.
Yeah.
But the statue of this thing, have you seen it? You should look it up. It's pretty horrific because it's these little boys and this she-wolf with huge nipples. And they're all saggy. I don't know why we made this.
Thirsty kids.
But it's kind of horrific. Like, what are we doing making this a statue?
What would I say? Romulus and Remus statue?
I think so. I caught a glimpse of it and I thought, of course, some creepy dude definitely made this.
Oh, yeah.
What is the saggy nipples on the picture you
Yeah,
have?
and the weird kids in weird poses with 6-packs.
Yes!
Yeah.
What is happening?
A baby with a 6-pack drinking from a saggy
Yeah,
wolf teeth.
that is the worst. Well, it's probably not the worst sculpture. There's probably been worse. But when I was looking stuff up for this, I thought, okay, what is going on here?
Yeah, a dude made that for sure.
A dude made it for sure. And he's thinking to himself, oh, well, the only way these boys were possibly raised by the she-wolf is if they're drinking milk from these huge saggy nipples.
This one on the, I guess would be your right side, is he's real creepy.
Yeah. I know.
Rain down on me.
I know, it's awful. If you're listening to this, you got to look this picture up. Take a look at it. I think maybe we should print this off or get a replica for your house.
I think so.
I
But
think-
do you think we could get it so it's the wolf, but it has my face,
Oh, we should try.
and then everything else is the same as the statue?
I'm sure with AI we could get that done.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, I'm glad you looked up that picture because I don't know what's happening there. And
Weird
not only
things.
that, this piece was commissioned. I don't know who the artist is, but they made this sculpture and somebody purchased it.
What a sicko.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What we call art, but I guess that's why it's art. The third puppy was a female, and she's younger, 3 months old. And that one was named Khaleesi to reference the Game of Thrones. I really do think that Game of Thrones is the reason they did
no
this
doubt.
project.
No doubt.
Even though the company says that they did it because they are working with the indigenous tribes, because the direwolf is a spiritually important object to them. And they were also building technologies for conservation because they want to be able to clone endangered species. And lastly, they said they're trying to inspire the next generation to be excited about science. But I would say, I feel like they did this because of Game of Thrones. Like, why would you just pick a dire wolf?
Yeah. Because rewind however many years ago Game of Thrones started, like the shows came
Yeah.
out.
It's probably
And
about
no one
the
knew
time.
it. No one talked about direwolves ever.
Exactly. And they do plan on making at least 3 to 5 more because the wolves need to live in a pack. So they're trying to
But I
build them
assume
a
they
pack.
gotta, to breed them too, they gotta have some diversity or whatever.
Yeah, probably. I'm not sure. The company is evaluated at $10.2 billion. And if you watch Shark Tank, you know what an evaluation of a company means. But my gosh, that's a lot.
I actually have no idea what that means.
So
Just the value. That's
what they estimate the value of the company to be at. It doesn't have to be cash on hand that they have.
It's like their assets and everything.
Yeah, it's basically what you would have to pay to buy them.
Okay.
But this project for just the dire wolves is estimated at $400 million, which is just...
I thought that would have been more, to be honest. Like,
Well, I mean, maybe, but if you're saying, oh, we just want to inspire some kids about science, I'm going to spend $400 million, that just seems like a lot.
yeah.
When you could probably show them a frog and they'd be excited about it, you know? Kids don't take much to get excited about.
No, and instead they made a dire wolf that's just going to bite them.
Yeah, I mean, what is going on? They do say that they've successfully cloned red wolves, woolly mice, and they're working on bringing back the woolly mammoth, Tasmanian tiger, and the dodo bird. And it's just like, what?
I think before they move to dinosaurs, they do need to do the woolly mammoth.
Woolly mammoth for sure. This episode is brought to you by Greg's Plausibly Haunted Furniture, because life is too short for boring furniture that doesn't scream in the middle of the night. Ah! Are you tired of your couch not whispering forgotten Latin incantations while you nap? Sick of coffee tables that don't summon Victorian children from the void? Well, guess what? Greg's got you. Greg's inventory includes sofas that exhale cold air and smell faintly of ectoplasm, mirrors that show what's standing behind you, and wardrobes that absolutely do not lead to Narnia, but something definitely lives in there. And don't miss out on Greg's new Demonic Den collection. It's cozy, cursed, and surprisingly stain-resistant. Act now, and Greg will throw in a free haunted doll with every purchase. And for our listeners only, use code GHOSTED for 13% off your first purchase. That's Greg's Plausibly Haunted Furniture. Because if your house isn't mildly haunted, are you even living?
Greg's Plausibly Haunted Furniture is not liable for hauntings, howlings, historical reenactments from beyond the grave, or sudden poltergeist breakdance battles. Do not feed the armchair. If your new dresser asks you for riddles before opening, answer wisely. Mirrors may show alternative timelines, your great-grandmother's disapproval, or your credit score. Greg is not a licensed exorcist, therapist, or time traveler, despite what his business card says. Side effects may include spontaneous Latin chanting, ghost allergies, the urge to redecorate your panic room, and mild to severe diarrhea. All purchases final. All hauntings likely permanent.
Well, I don't know. So these pups, they had a hound dog raising them, but it wasn't working out because she was waking them up too much and not able to feed them enough.
Yeah.
And I really wonder what was going on in that dog's head, because I'm picturing like a beagle or a basset hound or something looking, what kind of kids?
These killing machines.
Yeah, exactly. No wonder she's waking them up. She couldn't go to sleep
She was
because,
afraid.
Yeah, exactly. They might take advantage. But there's only 3 of them, so how are they going to learn to be wolves?
So I read a book, Woman Among Wolves, I don't know, a month ago or so. It's basically this woman spent her entire adult life helping reintroduce wolves into Montana, and then branched out to other states, and she went over to Europe and did it there too. But she basically, because people or organizations will be like, let's bring wolves back into Yellowstone or Glacier or wherever. And if I remember correctly, she advocated for we don't need to do that because the wolves she tracked were way up in northern Montana on the Canadian border, and over her 30 years of living there, watching them on their own, moved down through Montana into Wyoming, out to Idaho, and she's like, people don't need to touch this because they're doing it themselves. All we need to do is not kill them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, you don't introduce them because they just do it themselves. So it's interesting how much they can flourish with no real help from humans to do anything for them.
Sure.
As long as we, like I said, just don't shoot them for killing cattle.
I was going to say on Joe Rogan, because he had the tech guy on that helped start this company.
Yep.
I think you listened to it a little bit.
I did.
So he was talking about the wolves that were released in Colorado and how they were killing all the cattle and farm stock that these farmers had. And the point I had gathered from it is they were upset because the people in the metropolitan area were the ones that voted on these animals being released in the locations that then were harming the farmers, basically.
Yeah.
So his whole thing was the people that will be affected are the ones that should be saying if these animals should be released in their area or not.
Yeah. And I think this gal from the book did a bunch of farmers are like, hey, this pack of wolves is here, killing my cattle, and she'd go there with her other, wolf people, and they would capture them and relocate them, to however far away from elsewhere in the state, and the wolves would generally stay in that area. They would go after the cattle because it was like a target of opportunity.
Sure.
But when they got moved away from that like resource. They just found other food to eat.
Maybe they just had to move them 5 miles across the river.
But they swim better than bunnies, I think.
I love that. I wonder if they'd be able to get enough food. Just the three of them. Yeah. If they just have 3 of them. Because don't they have to hunt in a pack?
Yeah.
I wonder if they'd be able to. But unless they get these 3 or 5 more, I guess. Because then they would have a pack.
Yeah, I think with that many, they'd be fine.
I think right now they mentioned that they're in an undisclosed location because they don't want to make a zoo out of it.
I do remember this dude that was on Joe Rogan said something about, do you want to see them or something like that? And he's like, I'll talk to you after the podcast. Like, he wouldn't even talk about where they were without, like, not, with not going into detail on the podcast. So
The really goofy thing to me, though, is they have that picture of the 2 pups sitting on the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones, which is another reason why I think it was simply just brought back for this love of the show.
Yeah.
But Peter Jackson somehow met this guy and had just bought the Iron Throne for $1 million and said, hey, you want to take a picture with these? How did we get this accomplished?
Yeah.
Did they bring the puppies to the throne, or did they bring the throne to the puppies?
Do you think they went on a plane as like a service dog, or do you think they got put in a kennel in the belly of the plane?
Can you imagine those guys loading the plane? That would be so fun.
Just got a case of dire wolves over here.
Yeah, don't pet my service animal. Lord. That's so interesting to just think about, though. Because how did we just randomly... Because the guy was claiming, oh, he just happened to have it, and we just happened to be in the area.
It's a money grab.
Exactly. That was on purpose.
Yep. A big PR thing.
For sure. And of course it has to be the House Stark. Like, why? Come on.
Yep.
Lannisters could have done this. What are we doing?
What was the Lannister symbol? A lion?
I think it's a lion.
What's the equivalent of a lion that's extinct? Because it's not very exciting to just breed a lion.
No, what would it be?
A saber-toothed tiger, but that's a tiger, not a lion.
Yeah.
So that doesn't work.
Is there a type of lion? I'm sure there is. What about those white ones that the magicians in Vegas had?
Oh.
Wait, those are tigers too.
Yeah, Siberian tigers, Siberian. I don't know.
We didn't look up tigers,
no,
people.
No,
we don't know about
tigers. If you came here for
tigers.
tigers, you came to the wrong place.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's gonna know, and they're yelling at the radio.
Yep. You idiots! Why can't you think of the name?
Exactly. We don't know what we're talking about. I really came here just to talk about Jurassic Park with you because you know dang right that now that this has happened, some fool, whether it's now or the year 2505, wasn't that when Idiocracy happened?
I think so.
It's somewhere in that era. Or century, I should say. And now that I know about centuries, that's a whole nother story. I was really confused on the centuries.
Isn't it just 100 years?
Well, it is, but I was goofed because you think 1900s would be the 19th century, but it's not. It's the 20th.
20, that's right, because there was the
you have the
year
first
1 through
100,
99 or whatever.
Which, of course, makes sense now, but we were playing a trivia game, and I said to my friend, I'm really confused about the centuries. I shouldn't be, but I am.
Because it's the 21st century now.
Yeah, and she said to me, we were born in the 20th century. And I literally immediately got the question wrong after it because I still was thinking 1900 is 19th century.
It is confusing.
Thanks for placating me. It's probably not that confusing. But
no, if it's confusing for us, we know it's confusing for everybody.
So would that then be... It is confusing, though, because if it's 2,505...
That'd be the
26th century?
26th century.
Yeah. Okay, so in the 26th century, somebody is for sure going to bring the dinosaurs
if
back.
If they aren't back by then.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we're probably still going to be alive.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because if we can get it replaced, we'll get it replaced.
Yep.
You know, for sure. Just give us a new one. We'll be
Replace
fine.
my legs with wheels. I'll be okay.
But if they just need to take a little blood, because they have dinosaur parts all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that we have readily available.
Yeah.
They're going to do this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to go wrong. There's no way this is going to go okay.
No, it never goes okay. There's like 6 Jurassic Park movies that prove every single time it doesn't go well.
Exactly. And if you haven't watched Jurassic Park, we'll give you a little bit of a summary here. Okay.
Or this is a warning for spoilers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If you
Spoiler
haven't watched
warning,
it,
turn
spoiler
off the
alert.
podcast.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Okay, so Jurassic Park. Basically, a billionaire in a straw hat says, "Hey, what if Disneyland had fewer lines and more things that could eat your children?" So naturally, he builds a dinosaur zoo on an island that gets monsoons and murdery vibes on the daily. Things go great until Dennis the Menace, but with hacking skills and zero cardio, disables the park for a quick corporate heist. Every electric fence stops working, and the T-Rex says, "Time to shine, baby!" Some of the highlights include a man learning that sitting on a toilet during a crisis is not a survival strategy, raptors developing advanced degrees in door opening, flanking, and psychological warfare, and Jeff Goldblum shirtless and sweaty for literally no reason. But we respect it. In the end, everyone learns that cloning apex predators and putting them on an island with bad Wi-Fi is a terrible idea.
Oh, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum for sure. There's a board game that I have, and it's called Unmatched. And you can have all these different characters, and you can go head to head with someone. And they have a Jurassic Park set for this Unmatched. And one of the little models you can get that you move around the board is literally Jeff Goldblum laying
shirt
down
on?
with his shirt unbuttoned.
Oh my
And
God.
of course I have it.
There, when I was in high school, people would print out this picture of Jeff Goldblum and put it inside the bathroom stalls, and the caption on it said, "Jeff Goldblum's watching you poop." And it was just him. I don't remember if he had a shirt on or not, but it was
That
just
is so
his face
funny.
watching you poop.
That is so great. Well, and you mentioned there's a error in the movie with the toilet scene.
I did?
The guy didn't, wasn't it you? The guy didn't actually put his pants down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I always thought he was pooping. I don't know if he was supposed to be sitting on the toilet, pants down, but when the T-Rex eats him, pants are up around the waist and he's sitting on the toilet.
Yep.
So he stooled his pants or something.
I would say, though, the dinosaurs did not start with the crotch when they ate people. They went head first
Yeah,
usually.
they're too big, I think, to go for the crotch first.
Okay, so they didn't learn that from bears, and bears didn't learn that from them.
No.
Yeah,
no.
they just
They
just
don't
go head
communicate
first.
well, yeah.
chomped. You're
Yep.
done.
I think so. With bringing back dinosaurs, I think that's the most concerning to me is mixing dinosaurs and humans.
Yes, yeah, because you just saw this.
I just saw it. I witnessed crossbreeding between dinosaurs and humans on Easter of all weekends, Easter weekend. My child was given a toy at an Easter egg hunt, and it was a Jurassic Park brand toy. It wasn't a T-Rex, but some animal or dinosaur like a T-Rex, and it had baby arms. They were legitimately human arms on the side of it. That
Like
looked
little tiny baby arms.
Yeah, they weren't dinosaur arms; they were baby arms. on
And they
this
were
dinosaur.
flesh colored.
Yeah,
The green dinosaur with flesh colored baby arms. When you sent me the picture, I thought, how is this
Yeah.
even a thing?
and it wasn't someone messing with like the packaging and everything. Had a dinosaur with baby arms.
What in
Yeah.
the heck?
So that's what we're gonna get.
It's
is-
already happening.
It's embarrassing enough to get eaten by a dinosaur while you're sitting on the toilet, but to have it be a dinosaur that also has baby arms that you see while you're in the toilet, it's even worse.
Exactly. What in the heck? And how did the toy manufacturer put that out?
I hope someone got fired.
For sure. And of all the things those got in here with the tariffs, like
Yep.
how is
Yep.
this?
Yep.
But I'm picturing a group of people in a room, and they're supposed to pitch a new hot toy, and they're going through all these cool things, plug it into your iPad and it lights up and spins, whatever.
Yep.
And one guy at the end is saying, "Listen, okay, we've done the dinosaur, and we've done the baby. Let's put them together. Let's do a dinosaur with baby arms." And the whole place was like, approved. Send it to the manufacturer, Bob. Let's get her done. Like, what's going on?
A baby saw a dino baby?
Well, and then they put it in the store and someone bought it
Hmm?
and gave it out as a toy on Easter.
Yeah.
A whole thing happened here. A lot of people were involved
Yep.
to
Now
get
my
this
toddler
toy.
walks around with a dinosaur going roar, and the dinosaur's baby arms, and none of that makes any sense.
It's so cute, though.
It is. It's actually pretty adorable.
It's really cute, for sure. So we learned from Jurassic Park not to go in long grass. So these are some things.
I was out exploring with my kids a weekend or two ago, and Margot pointed out the long grass and like off to the side of this big field. And I said, Margot, do you know what's in the long grass? And she said, no. And I said, velociraptors. Stay out of the long grass. She didn't really have a reaction to it, so I don't think she's learned yet to stay out of the long grass, but she will.
Well, we're going to need to remember this when they come back.
Yep.
Don't go in any long grass.
Correct.
We also need to remember nothing can stop a good idea, not even an electric fence.
Fact.
So don't think that you're secure standing by electric fence. We also realize that the world needs more problems
Absolutely.
because everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Yep.
In that film. It's never too late to bring up the past. We learned that too.
Yep.
Brought all this stuff up, constant. And my absolute favorite tip, never hide in the kitchen. And they did that in 2 movies. 2 of the Jurassic, at least 2 of them, they hid in the kitchen.
Bad idea.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Granted, I haven't been in any huge restaurant kitchens or anything like that, but why are there so many pans?
And I feel like all the surfaces are shiny, too.
Yeah, everything was shiny. And why do we have stainless steel on the side of the thing, too? And this pan's hanging on there, and they're running around and clanking.
Maybe the stainless steel with the reflection was actually done by design, because they're like, oh, let's build a kitchen. And while they're building it, they're like, well, what if velociraptors attack us? They said, we'll make them shiny so they jump into the reflection and we get away.
I bet you that's exactly it. That architect had to have known.
Well, after he was done being an architect, he went and designed toys, and they were dinosaurs with baby arms.
I wonder if they have the little kitchens that you can buy for kids. I wonder if they have any little mini stainless steel kitchens that you can then pair. So sister's got the stainless steel kitchen with all the pans, and brother's got the dinosaurs with the baby arms.
Yeah.
They can recreate the whole scene.
Oh, absolutely.
The baby dolls can be trying to run away and clanking
Hiding in
the
the
pans.
oven or whatever it was.
Yep, and then the velociraptor baby arms can come by.
Leap into the
Them.
stainless steel wall,
Yeah,
thinking it sees a human.
that must be exactly why that was designed.
But once it falls down, it won't be able to lift itself back up with those baby arms.
Well, and my other question is, why can the dinosaurs open the doors? That's freaky.
A little bit of human DNA slipped into the dinosaur while they were making it.
It had to have, because that is absolutely terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even hide behind a closed door.
No. It would have made more sense if it just broke the door down.
And this is a little bit off topic, but do we think that we'd really feed goats to a T-Rex? I feel like they need to eat more than a goat.
Yeah.
That didn't seem like enough food. And that's probably why it broke out.
Oh, I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
And I don't think its vision's based on movement. How they just stop moving and the T-Rex can't see them, I don't think that's real. But when they bring back dinosaurs, we're going to find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out. Do you think your neighbor will have one? Come on, Stu.
Doug needs your help. See if I ever help you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
I think she would.
Honestly,
she'd definitely have a direwolf therapy dog.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
But she would possibly be the first person to get eaten when the dinosaurs come back.
Probably.
On the toilet.
I love it. Mm. Well, is there anything else that we didn't address?
Not that I can think of.
Well, we have no idea how often we're going to do this. So you just better be happy when you get one, is what I'm saying.
Check Spotify every day.
Yep, check Spotify every day, because once a month we'll probably put one of these out.
But look every day just in case.
But look every day just in case. Turn on your notifications. We'll be at Apple Podcasts and Spotify if we can figure that out, which I'm sure we will. We're smart. We're smart enough.
Yes.
And if you have any suggestions for shows, let us know. If you know us in person. If you don't know us in person, too bad. I guess you just can't give us suggestions.
I think you can leave comments on Spotify.
Oh, you can?
Yep.
See, I don't know anything about it. But we'll learn.
Yep.
I'm excited to just have conversations.
I like it.
Perfect.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Well, how is that? Was that Borat? Is that how he says that?
It's been a long time since I've seen Borat.
I think it's something like that, though.
I think so. Goodbye.
Oh, no, he says, very nice.
Yes.
That's what
Yep.
it is.
Yep.
I just mixed it up. But
Well,
anyway.
It's a Borat goodbye.
Are you gonna listen to Dippy Does It All podcast about direwolves?
I don't know what that's about.
That's my podcast.
Oh, I guess. Sure.